Greetings, and welcome to Void War. Void War is a roguelite spaceship simulator where you control the crew of an ancient and venerable starship, hopping from system to system, fighting off cultists, xenophobic imperials, and all manner of foul beings, on your way to the core worlds of a dying empire. If you've played Faster Than Light, you'll be very familiar with this style of game. And before we get into it, let's check out the settings menu. Got three window modes. Nothing surprising there. Um, Currently does not have ultra wide support, which is a little unfortunate, but full screen will mostly get you there. Um, Precise crew movement I will go over in a little bit, and not very many sound options, which is also a little unfortunate. However, you can rebind basically all the keys, which is very nice. So, let's get into it. I've played one run so far, and unlocked the Witch, which is a caster class. The one you start with is the Exile, who has a teleporter that can jump you into any room on your ship or the enemies. But for this, I will be using the Witch. So here we have our ship selection. You can see our ship systems down here. All of these have varying uses and varying levels of importance. You can see your starting crew over here, as well as your commander choice up here. There are three variants of ships, well, two right now in this version of the game, and you can see all of the ship variations by hitting this list button. So, nothing really to check out here, so let's just get right into it. The God King has fallen, the Empire is in despair. Brother fights against brother as the ruinous cults sweep through the stars. The very fabric of reality trembles before the onslaught of demonic swarms. Deep within the Imperial core worlds, one final hope exists: to rekindle the flames within the vault of souls. To the Empire, you are a blasphemer. To the cults, you are a heretic. Trust no one. Let none stop you from bringing the renegades of this forsaken realm to their destined annihilation. So, you can select your crew by clicking on them and moving them around. Since I have precise movement turned off, they will prioritize. So if I click on this one, see how he walks right on over to the control panel. But if I hold the Alt key and then click on his space, he will move specifically to that space. So up here, I'm going to quickly save the locations. So if I box all of my crew and say move them into this room, and then hit this button, they'll all run back. If you've played FTL before, this is all going to sound very, very familiar. Down here, we have our total power. These gray bars indicate power that has not been allocated to a system. Here we have our shields. For every 2 power you have in your shields, you will gain an additional shield, which is up here. Here's our engines, our life support, and our death sleds, which allow us to board enemy craft without the use of a personal teleporter. Here's our weapon systems. As you can see, we have both a Storm 1, which costs 2 power to use, and a Bolt Cannon, which costs 1. So I'm going to go ahead and power these, and as you can see, we can power a maximum of 3 energy worth of weaponry with our current weapon system. Over here we have our command throne, which is basically the pilot seat. If there is nobody sitting in the pilot seat, you cannot jump from system to system. The doors are a little on the important side, especially when you get boarded. If you played FTL before, you are probably familiar with the trick of having somebody sit in an upgraded doors room, keeping all the doors locked while you open every single hatch to the outside, and flood the entire ship with space. And here we have our sensors, which allow us to see inside of enemy ships and see what's going on. Up here we have our crew, and this is a psychic ability. It will bypass both shields and cannot miss. This one just does a bit of damage, nothing special. Recharges in 30 seconds, and many psychic powers will have a channel to it, in which your crew member will stand there and power up before doing whatever, whether that be summoning something or chucking a fireball or whatever. This one fires instantly. And it should be noted that channeling a psychic power means whatever station they are at, they are not manning. So my witch here would not be piloting the ship while she is channeling. No? Without further ado, let's open up the map. As you can see, got a good ways to go until we get to our Stargate to take us to the next sector. You can see different kinds of merchants here, as well as shipyards, more merchants, and a listening station. And these allow you to pledge allegiance to whichever faction is within to pledge allegiance to the faction whose system you are currently in. So for now, we'll just go. Frozen corpse collides with one of your ship's antenna masts. Later you discover a weapon caught in the mast scaffolding. So this is not a weapon for the ship, it is a weapon for your crew. This one DPS. So if I open up, if I right click on one of my crew members, or I go and hit this button, we'll pull up my crew. So Corbin here, 60 health, does 3 damage a second, and is an Imperial Enforcer. And as you can see, you can have armor and a weapon. Let's go ahead and give him that machine cannon. So now he does 7 damage, and if he's in a big room, he does +3. So let's go ahead and hop to this listening station. You come across a hidden outpost of the Raider clans. Though it appears to have been deserted long ago, there is still a functioning signal relay in one of the side antechambers. The relay utilizes an ancient and powerful technology capable of broadcasting messages far greater than conventional equipment. It is said that certain Raider clans use this technology for managing their networks of operatives across the galaxy. You have the opportunity to broadcast the transmission. I'm not going to go ahead and pledge allegiance to a Raider clan, because, well, I'm not a Raider. So, let's go up here so we can visit this shop, because I want more psychic powers. You re-enter real space and are immediately attacked by a pirate vessel. They appear to have suffered damage from a prior engagement. Sorry, nothing personal. So, as we enter in combat, I can press spacebar or middle mouse button to pause the game. Here is the enemy's weapon. You can see it right here. fires one shot and does 1 ion damage. Now that will depower whatever it hits. If it hits the shield, it will depower the shield. So I'm going to turn auto fire on both of my weapons, that they will continuously fire at whatever I target them at. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the engines. And I can hit Q or W to, instead of clicking on them, whichever you prefer. And I am not going to load anybody into my death sleds for now. I am, however, going to fire my mind bolts at their command throne, because I can pretty much guarantee that there's going to be someone in there. Now, we're not in any real danger, as they have only one weapon and it is not capable of actually hurting the ship. As you can see, when they shoot us, one bar gets depowered because it deals 1 ion damage, and because shields require 2 power, it disables them. Alright, a few intact cargo containers are visible in the aftermath, so we got scrap metal, which is our money, and munitions, which is used for systems like missiles and special artillery pieces. We don't have any of those on the ship right now, so these are more or less useless. So we're going to stockpile them until we get something that uses them. So if we hop over to our upgrade terminal here, here's where we can spend scrap on adding more power or adding more power slots to one of our systems. I am not going to purchase anything right now because I want to check out this shaman here, because he might have some interesting things. Docking lights glimmer through the dust ahead of you, betraying the presence of a large trading outpost. One of its representatives contacts you as you approach. They wish to make a deal. So we'll go ahead and trade. Alright. So these are crew members that are psychers, just like my commander, and come equipped with the summon thrall. Now that has a channel time and summons a little meat man in whatever room you point it at, including on the enemy ship. So we'll probably pick one of those up, and yeah. 2245. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pick up a thrall. And we'll go ahead and pick up blood spear as well. Now if we go to our loadout, our commander has an armor, a weapon, and a psychic slot. So we'll go ahead and give her blood spear. So we have a crew damaging ability and a ship damaging ability that will also sacrifice the nearest thrall to reduce the cooldown from 60 seconds to 3. And conveniently, we just picked up somebody who can summon a thrall. Go ahead and hop on to the next section. You discover an abandoned Corsair hauler drifting in space. Scorch marks on the engine suggest this vessel was intercepted by an Imperial patrol ship. So we'll go ahead and investigate further. You manage to discover a hidden crawl space used for smuggling contraband. Inside, you find the desecrated remains of an unfortunate Corsair that must have hid there for too long, as well as a bizarre artifact. So we just got another psychic artifact. Instantly extinguish nearby fires and create toxic gas. The body without a flame enjoys eternal life. Act 9, the Viridian Jest. Interesting. So we'll probably go here, because this will give us more options as we either hop to the shipyard or make hop to this node here. And in general, you kind of want to plan out your route like that so that you have a higher chance of getting to a system that you're going to want to be in. So here, there's a hidden research facility with some advanced technology. All friendly crew explode on death, dealing 10 damage to nearby enemy crew. Interesting. So that is a module, which you can see is attached right here. If we can't sell these, and they are either attached or discarded, and we can have up to 3. So I believe that the Summon Thrall counts as a crew member, though I am not sure. So we'll go ahead and hit on the shields. Actually, we'll go into doors, and we'll go into shields. We'll save that. I don't really want him on something important like engines, shields, or weapons, because he's got a 10-second channel in which he is not going to be operating the station that he's at. Go ahead and hop to the shipyard. An abandoned shipyard floats into view. It appears to be a safe place to rest. So, since our ship isn't damaged and nobody's got injuries and I don't need munitions, we'll just construct a machine slave. So machine slaves are basically servitors. As you can tell, this game is very, very, very heavily inspired by Warhammer. And there is going to be a lot of things that are definitely not Warhammer, as you can see, or probably already figured out. The ship that we are in looks very reminiscent of an Imperial cruiser. I'm gonna go ahead and put Zerong 2 on our weapon systems and save. We'll hop on. A damaged pirate vessel speeds towards you. Their weapons are armed. I want everything you have. So this is not gonna go well for them. They have a beam weapon that cannot hurt us because we have a shield. Weapon design from a pre-Empire era. Despite its age, it is still effective under the proper conditions. Interesting. So if we go here, we can go ahead and summon a thrall in there. And we can shoot them with mind bolt while they're putting that fire out. And just like that, the crew is dead and the ship is no longer. So the enemy crew has been killed. You search through the remains and find a few useful items. So let's go ahead and upgrade our engines so that we have a little bit more evasion. Ship tears into real space in front of an Imperial supply convoy. They appear to be transporting munitions to a nearby invasion fleet. You can either raid the convoy, stay hidden, or, because we have an Imperial citizen on board, requisition supplies. Stuff like that will pop up depending on what you have in terms of your crew. Again, if you've played FTL, this is probably all very familiar. So, An Imperial train crew member forges false requisition orders to be issued to the convoy. The convoy overseer abides by the false request and allows one of the supply vessels to replenish your stores. So we got 10 munitions, got a missile terror missile. One shot, 18-second charge time, does 1 hull damage, ignores shields, stuns crew in target room and adjacent rooms for 8 seconds. Interesting. So since we don't have a missile launcher, we'll probably sell that at the next shop we run into. So that sells missiles and missile bay systems and ship armament. This sells crew and equipment. And this sells missile templates, consumables, and ship armament. I want to go to munitions. There's a destroyed transport vessel here. You are able to scavenge some supplies from the wreck. Oh, that's a lot of scrap, actually. So, I'm gonna hold off on upgrading the ship until I see what the merchant is selling. And if I want to pick up anything. Saber missiles. Okay, small, so just a damage missile, small chance of fire, decent damage, claymore missile. Munitions cost 2, ignore shield, chance of fire, okay, so it's basically just a heavier version of the saber missile, and the disruptor missile causes ion damage. So here's a system that costs munitions to fire. Consumes 3 munitions, whereas these missiles consume, this one consumes 2, this one consumes 1, so this is quite expensive to fire. However, it is also just a room on the ship. I might want that auto. Let's just sell for 15. Auto disruptor. Okay, so this is an ion weapon. This stuns crew, and that costs 120 though. Okay, so we can't afford that, unfortunately. So, however, I am going to sell that. Actually. You know, fortune favors the bold. Let's sell. Yeah, let's sell this. And grab that. Depower. And power that. So this takes quite a while to charge, but fires seven shots and will basically rip through shields. Here. You stumble upon a blood cult starship in the middle of a repair operation. Before you have a chance to react, they activate their weapons and open fire. So the blood cult is basically the worshippers of Khorne from Warhammer. As you can see, they have painted their ship red. So they have... Okay, they have a few servitors, or husks, and a psyker leading them. Has a heal. So we're gonna go ahead and summon a thrall in the engine room. Now, since this fires multiple projectiles, you can see roughly where everything is gonna land. That big red circle. Oh, mistimed that. Not much survives the blast, only a small handful of supply canisters can be retrieved from the wreckage. Some scraps and munitions, so it is generally better to kill the crew, as the old mech warrior adage goes, kill the meat, save the metal. You can retrieve a lot more from a ship that is intact than a ship that is not. And we're probably gonna need to upgrade our shields here very soon. Having one shield is very not ideal. So, we have reached the end of the first system. So here we can see, here is our final destination. And here are the two systems that we can jump to. So we can either go to the Techno Cult, which is a neutral region. The Techno Cult is more or less the Mechanicum from Warhammer. Tech worshippers that don't particularly like emotion or flesh. And we could go to, or we could go to the Imperial sector, which is more or less the Imperium from Warhammer, and is currently in a war zone. So let's go to the Imperial sector. Your ship emerges from within the boundaries of Imperial vassal sector. While obstinately one of the more civilized regions of space, the fall of the God King has thrown large swaths of Imperial society into disarray. So there's a shrine here, so let's hop towards that. Arrive back in real space and find yourself staring at the familiar void of deep space. Let's hop to this Imperial shrine. You arrive at an old Imperial shrine. Its structure is worn, but its solemn presence commands respect. So we'll go ahead and pledge ourselves. You swear fealty and devotion to the Imperial cult. A radiant warmth floods your veins like the embrace of the sun itself, igniting your faith with strength, all crew restored, plus 10 hull integrity. Now, I'm going to end the playthrough here, but before I do, I want to talk a little bit about the music. It is quite interesting. Lots of synths, lots of well, I'm not really a music expert, but I rather like the music. It's both haunting and calming at the same time, as well as the sound design. You hear the doors open. Sound right now. Oh. Aha, the thralls do explode on death. So the thrall is a demon. And we'll do actually one more sector. The thralls don't last between. Cruise past the Skeletor tormented and colony contains the let's get into combat before we end it. Ah, here we go. Re-enter real space and instantly find yourself taking fire from a possessed ship. A quick scan shows that its command throne is unmanned. Some diabolical entity must have corrupted its machine core, slaving the ship to its will. That is very foul looking. It's got an energy beam and a thunder cannon. Shoots once. Does not affect shields. Okay, so this thing does have the ability to hurt us. So we'll summon the thrall into the weapon systems. Oh. So we'll go ahead and pause it there. So it just teleported a fleshling into my command room. That is something. Thankfully, it just blew its... I think they have multiple fleshlings on board. And there's no oxygen. That's... How is it... Oh, does it repair on its own? Interesting. So we'll go ahead and blood bolt that. So what I want to do is I want to keep at least one of their weapons down as much as I can. Is that a heart? That's... Yikes. Generates damage systems. Alright. So, in regards to sound design, weapons feel chunky, beams feel... They kind of crackle with energy when they fire. Missiles make a very loud whoosh when they launch. It's very, I wouldn't call it heavy, but it's rather good sound design, I would say. Pretty much everything has an associated sound, so you could close your eyes and be able to identify what's going on, which is really good, because you are able to react to things much faster than you hear, or at least in my experience, you can. And yeah, that's Void War. Go ahead and check it out on Steam if you're interested. If you like FTL, if you like Warhammer, you'll probably like this. Okay. And I hope you have a good day.